Hey, 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 hey. Yes, yes, yes. So we're picking up as promised. Timestamp 1040. That's where I am starting off as promised. I did a post already in his by the time you watch this, it's been an hour now. I did a post. Listen, I everybody knows what they're here for such a time as this. My last video was I think it was Oprah. Did a post on her Instagram, and then someone sent me this for a deep trick. The trick of the deets, of the D trick. And so, yeah, uh, I don't know about you, I don't know. Since I was a little girl, I have been that one. I just returned back to finish up my BRE program. And from day one, we had an open forum, and someone sent me a private DM saying, "Thank you for speaking up." Um, Actually, more than one person sent me a private DM while we're in the classroom. And I shared with them then that I ended right the last class for me because of the whole COVID craziness. Um, I got private DMs in that last class too, where people just, the thing about, I always shake my head because, and I mentioned this to my son, one of my sons, and he acknowledged it. And we had this conversation about a week ago. And he's like, "Mom, it's like people, like you give people permission to show their truth, to speak their truth, to not be afraid to speak and to be." And it came because I just started to learn to skate. I said, I'm going to use this year and this time, the lockdown time. A lot of you lock yourself down. I open myself up. I'm like, okay, what can I do during this time? So skating is one of the things that I said, I bought skates for myself and all my children, but I was never on there. I think went on it twice with my two younger sons, and they had a friend that used to do the every other month sleepover. And it's that relationship. I'm the one that reached out to the mother and said, I think it'll be, for our sons to grow up. And at that point, it wasn't reciprocated immediately because at that time she was married, and you got a sense that married women don't want to hang around a single woman with children because. And then life came and hit her, and then she became a single woman with children. All of a sudden now my offer seemed right and palatable and well needed because now her son needed a commonality. See, before her son wasn't common with my children because there was a two-parent home, and but then reality hit, and all of a sudden there's a commonality. I knew why she reached out. I could have been like, oh, now you want our children to hang out because you're in the same boat. But I was like, you know what, Holy Spirit, you know. So I said, sure. And reciprocated after the initial wasn't that wholeheartedly reciprocated. Now it was just like, oh, please, please, because her child needed someone to relate to because his life is now broken. So, oh, let me hook you up with another child whose life is broken. So you don't, so you, people's energies. And then as soon as she found a man, and it's like all of a sudden it started to be weaned out again. So you just gotta let people be. You just gotta let people be. So during that time of the friendship, um, I got skates, and we went skating a couple times. Myself, my two sons, and the play date, the best friend play date. Started off at kindergarten is when they started. And I know it's I tell you, my book is going to be juicy. My book is going to be, because there's a lot of you women out there that I know. It's like you need permission to speak your truth. I don't know why. So, so yeah, my son and I, we had this conversation because mom, because when you go on the ice, I'm in my 40s, and I take the kitty helper, and there's like other women and other men and people who are just learning, who was timid and they're afraid and they're shy and I'm like, let's. So when I go and I do it now I'm better now. Like my skating, I ain't no, twirly whirly, but I'm so much better than where I started. But I still intentionally start off with the helper for others to be like, yo, so what? You're learning, you're going to fall, and you're old, or because, you have the children there and the children are spinning because they've started out. And so it's that embarrassment and what are people going to say? And I don't want to look stupid. And what if I fall? And people more concerned about what people are going to say about them and their fear of failure. And failure means people are going to be laughing at them. They're going to look stupid. And when they see me, I take the helper and I get out there and I go around the lap, like the ice, like twice with the helper. And they're like, oh. So all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, if she's doing it, well, let me do it. All of a sudden I give them permission to fall, or quote unquote in their mind to look silly, to look stupid, because, oh, if she's unafraid of quote unquote looking stupid, walking, skating around with the helper, I guess I'm okay. And I'm like, no, you might call it looking stupid. I'm like, that's on you. I need to learn how to skate. And to me, this is wise. This is looking goddamn wise. You want to go out there and pretend you don't need it. Many of you out there pretending you don't need resources, you don't need help, and you're suffering. This applies to so many things. You're suffering. Admit you need help. Forget about people, because as you take the help and you get better, you're allowing other people to say, oh, wow, yeah, I need help too. And then they realize it's not about the image of saying you need help. It's about the image of you succeeding. What does that picture look like? So I'm more focused on the picture of skating around there, effortless. That's the picture I am picturing. So when I'm on the ice and I'm with the helper, I'm not looking at that picture. I'm looking at that end picture and know that I need this picture. This picture right here of saying I need help and using it. This picture is leading me to that picture. So I'm more fixated. My mind is more fixed on the end result. So all of this that a lot of people get hung up on, that's why many of you will never get to the end result. You'll never get to the end result because you're so focused on all the pictures that is required. And you're trying to bypass that picture because you don't want to be seen as needing help. So you're struggling. The time you're taking to struggle to try to do it on your own and try to not to fall, the time and energy you're putting into that, you would have been, by the time I was on that helper, it took me 4 different weekends, 4 different days. By week number 5, by attempt number 5, or day number 5, I was going on without it. Many of you now, it's going to take day number 15. Some, it could be day number 30 for you to finally get to where you could have got to on day number 6 if you're just taking the help. This is going to hit you on whatever level, business, personal, professional, your own struggles and battles with any addictions. It's this analogy it's a cross-board analogy. And that's the thing about truth. Truth is applied no matter where you put it. You see, when you want to contextualize, then I caution. I always say, is that truth? Because truth is truth. No matter how you take the principle of it and you apply it. And that is why it says, I reign on the just and the unjust, because the unjust are using the principles. You guys are hung up and like, listen, they're using godly principles and they're still being, because it's about the principle. Now, it's better for you to use the principle in a lifestyle of ethics. So you'll be double. Your borders will be busting out rewarding. But there's some people whose borders are busting out and they're being rewarded for unethical things, but eventually every Humpty Dumpty falls. Look at John Tory for the mayor of Toronto. For those that are watching this and you're in the Canadian Toronto area, he had resigned because he fell indiscretions of having a relationship with a staffer. While he's telling everybody to stay inside and lock down for 2 years, he was outside. he was he was locking down something else. The hypocritical. People can't see their grandparents. Grandparents are seeing their children to plastics. Through the children are grandkids are being afraid, and people can't go visit their loved ones in nursing homes. You can't go. People miss funerals and all. But be telling them that they can't be around loved one, people that they know, their kin. They can't be around their kin. But you being around and going through the legs of what ain't your kin, and you doing that through the pandemic. The hypocrisy of the leadership that you guys swear loyalty to. And no one is stopping and seeing how they've laughed at you. You allow yourself to be laughed at. Just like in Christendom, you have ministers like these. I found out he's a pastor. And they're just living a life where you just can look through it and see the hypocrisy of it. But many of you still sit and be loyal to these leaders as well. All Humpty Dumptys will fall. All Humpty Dumptys, no matter how you increase your territory, if you are increasing it unethically, if you're using godly principles and you're still being rewarded and you're using it unethical, trust me, your Humpty Dumpty day will come. And all of the king's horsemen and all of the king's wise men would not be able to put you back together again. All of the kings and the princes of this world that you rely on for credentials, for influence, they can pick up a phone call and make life happen to you. All of those that had worldly powers, when you fall from your Humpty Dumpty wall, they're going to be powerless. There's nothing in all of their might that they can do to put you back together again. Mr. Harvey Weinstein, listen, the Humpty Dumpty story, I remember my mom had a dream about it many years ago. It was a vision that came to her, and she came out of her dream and she shared it with myself and some of her friends about this Humpty Dumpty, and she was breaking it down. And I have lived to see her dream and her vision and her warning come to pass with many Humpty Dumptys. And it told her, just watch. And it gave her the nursery, and she's like, what's about this? And she was walking us through her dream and what the Spirit of the Most High was showing her about the Humpty Dumptys of this world. All of the king's horses, all of your go-to people, all of the people of influence in Christendom, your Kirk Franklins of Christendom, your Mary Marys, your queens and kings of all of these denominations, and the movers and shakers, the ones that can just pick up a phone call. When your Humpty Dumpty moment comes, all of the horsemen and all of the king's men, they will not be able to put you back together again. Nothing. There's nothing they can do to put you back together when you have your Humpty Dumpty moment. We are in a season of mirror work. For many of you who have had your Humpty Dumpty moments and you realize that there's no powers in this world that can put you back, return you back to that wholeness that you were once, because it was a wholeness of the world. The Most High desire us to have the wholeness of the mirror image of let us make man. In our image. That image was an image and still is an image of perfection. We were once perfect in that moment. Time passed and imperfections came because humanity decided that The whispers of knowledge of the Most High was so tempting. Not being satisfied, being told that withholding was a sign of mistrust, that there's something sinister with withholding, and saying, hey, just don't touch that. Didn't see it out of love, but see it out as controlling. Oh, you're controlling me. I'm sure back then they'll say, you're being a narcissistic. You're being a narcissist. You're controlling me. It was out of love that said, just don't touch that. You can do anything else, but just don't touch that. And just trust me. Just don't touch that. Have I not? I've done everything to show you that you can trust me. But it's like, if you really trust me, you wouldn't. And then that's how we start. That's how it started, right? And this same son of mine that we're talking about, and he's saying, how when I show up at places and spaces, me having that, not caring what people think, and knowing that I am here for a bigger end product, allows people to show their humanness of their imperfections, because everybody wants to get something. Everybody wants to get to thank you, Most High. Everybody wants to get to perfection of being an amazing skater, being a perfect skater, but they're afraid to show their imperfections. And as a result of being told that imperfections is something to be ashamed of, many would never get to being a perfect skater. Some might get there, and it's going to take a very long time because of this caring about people's opinions. However, everybody knows that it is attainable and it is possible to skate perfectly. It is. And everybody's definition perfectly could be Olympics. It could be just not falling. It could be I can just leisurely enjoy this. I don't have to be doing fancy stuff. Everybody says, okay, this is what I want. This is my vision of perfection in skating. And we do the same thing with Christianity. We do. Listen, I said the truth is applicable in every way. Many of us vision of perfection in Christianity is like, I don't want to turn water into wine. I don't want to cast out anybody. I just want to have the ability to have self-control. Like, to me, my Christian journey will be perfect if I can just attain self-control. Some other people, is their vision of perfection is that they want a big church, they want to be an evangelist. Everybody has their ideal of what perfection in this journey of relationship with Christ, what they are saying, this is what signifies perfection in this journey for me. Yet still, no matter what your end result of what you're saying, this is what perfection is. And it could be, for some people, it could be, again, yes, Holy Spirit. It could be my similar perfections to be an amazing mom, an amazing father. I want to be a homemaker. I want to be a farmer. I want to be a father. I want to be a farmer to feed the people. And I want to, that to me, and be able to be perfect in breaking down the word of God to my children and give them analogies. And I just want a perfect home. And to them, what does a perfect home look like? So, right? Okay, great. And what is still going to be the common denominator, no matter what your end goal of that perfection is every one of us attaining the mirror image of let us make man. Whatever that mirror image of perfection is in your journey of your relationship with Christ. The English word put on the word Christians, to be Christ-like and followers of the Christ. And listen, I don't get hung up in this trickery language called English. For those of you that speak Arabic, even Latin, Greek, you have no idea how fortunate you are. So, um, yes, mirror image. So, no matter how much we want to trivialize what occurred on this Grammy fiasco and what's been happening, you have the free will and choice to trivialize it. No, for many, it's a symbolism of truly where church and state is. They started off saying to separate, and now we are one, conformed. Monster that it is. Now we truly have to separate. And that's what I hear from the Most High. Come out from amongst them. We are in that moment. We're in that Elijah moment of stating to those who have ears, come out from among them. We are in preservation mode right now. The focus is important for it to be returning to the mirror image of let us make man. It is possible, it is attainable because the word says that it is. Be ye perfect, you shall be perfect as your Father is, not is perfect. So I already did the first part of this. It's on my Facebook. And I ended at his time stamp of 10:39, and I said I'm going to start off at the time stamp of 10:40, and that's where we are right now. And so we're going to continue, and I stated I'm going to be converting this, shifting this over to a podcast. It was just a screen share and a little feedback it was supposed to be, because originally I saw this as a reel. And then someone said, oh no, he got a full live on it. I'm like, what? So am I looking at the live? I'm like, oh, and I'm here. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Not I'm sorry. Well, it's one of those, I'm sorry for those that was listening to the screen time, because I thought it was going to be short. And I was like, ooh, no. It's a podcast episode. It's a podcast episode. It's a full out podcast episode. So we're going to deep dive, and we're going to listen to this person that has been called a pastor by the world, because they've been able to go through the requirements, the rudiments of scholarly work, and they've been given a piece of paper like the Wizard of Oz give the straw man the paper, because the straw man needed and coveted the degree of man. I'm telling you, English language, wow. The straw man desired the degree of man. A degree of man, the degrees of man, the man degree is what the straw man desires to confirm his wisdom. I'm going to leave that one right there. You can marinate on that. So we're going to pick up from there, and we're going to hear what the rest. I'm going to give you a link to the first part of my feedback of his first 10 minute and 39. I think my feedback was 42 minutes, because listen, when I go in, I go in. And I know the Most High is gonna send me some beautiful editors along the way for you guys to do your genius in editing my videos and all that. Right now, I'm just staying organic, and as I say, I see the big goals, so I don't care about these little imageries along the way of imperfections, because I see where the end result is, and it's a beautiful, perfect image. So keep all of these images of my imperfections along the way, and then when you get to the end result, you'll be like, oh my gosh, look at this picture. And I'll be like, yeah, remember all those other ones? Go back to seeing my podcast in all of the imperfected ways, and I didn't allow that to stop me. Many of you are waiting too much for things to be perfect, not remembering. You know it, you've heard it, but not believing that it is for you. Your imperfections is going to lead you towards the perfect end result that you desire. You have to embrace the imperfecting moments and not say and stay in your imperfections. You have to grow out of it. So are we imperfect? Heck yeah. And we are going towards that mirror image of perfection. What does that look like? And not believing that it's not attainable and it's not possible. Those spirits and those men and women that utter that out of their mouth, it shows their belief system, their limited belief system of living low, always playing around with low-hanging fruit. It shows their belief in their capabilities. It shows their belief of their limits that they want to impose on you, because misery loves company. Because when they see you push the limits, it convicts them that, oh my God, I guess I did not have to stay. So they don't want confirmation that they settled, so they require more people around them to settle. All right, let that marinate as well. All right, okay, so let's go here. So if you don't know, now you know. This is the season of mirror work. It begins.
Isn't that what the scripture says? The goal is to always win a sister or a brother, not lose them. Now, you're going to lose some people. They're going to say, okay, first of all, they're going to say, that's self-righteous. We sat and listened to you. That's arrogant. I don't want to serve their God. What?
First of all, you shouldn't have even been there for them to feel like they have to sit and listen to. You went into their house. You went into the house of Babel. You went into their house. So yeah, it's going to be unfair. We need to start building our house where they come into our house and they have to sit, because they're longing and desiring. When we keep going into their house, there's no desire to come into the house of truth. Because when we come into their house, we have to acquiesce and conform. And even the delivery of truth, you have to mind what you say. Trust me, they desire truth. That's why they say, come on over, come to my house, come have a dinner. They desire your presence, but on their terms. Oh my God, yes, Lord. That's why this needs to be a podcast. It is time that we allow their desire, because they have a burning desire, that it gets them up of their butts and their feet leads them to our house and say, yeah, come on over. That's what we are in this time now. Come out from amongst them. Build your own. Trust and believe they desire what you have. And as a result of their imperfections and not wanting to be indicted that it is possible, they tell you to water down and come over to their house. Deep down, they have a desire. So when you listen, the word, they have a desire. Let the horse come to the water. We've been taking the water over and it's been dripping out of the buckets. It's been making a mess. By the time it gets to the horse, and it's on the horse's terms, what we have to do for the horse to drink it. So now we, as man, as human, we alter and do these things to the water so that the horse says, "Oh, I want water, but can you do that? Can we? But, oh, I don't. I like it. Oh, I want it." The horse has all these diva moments, but it desired it. It darn thirsty. It is thirsty as heck. But we covet the horse and the horsemen. There's Humpty Dumpty coming again. That we do all this in our might and customize the water to be palatable for the horse now to say, okay, now I can drink your water that you brought to me that I so damn well need. I'm thirsty as my throat is parched as heck. But oh, you know what? The horse has to start coming over to the water, and let the horse die in its arrogance, and nope, no pity. You are so thirsty that you want to stay in your wrongness. It's saying wrong and strong. You want to stay in your wrong and strongness. You well know you're thirsty. Come on over. But your arrogance, your pride, your Humpty Dumptiness, you can't come over. Then stay thirsty then. Parch up your throat and stay thirsty then. I want to see how many Humpty Dumptys are going to be like, you know what? No, we're good. We're going to water. Couple of them are going to want to wait it out because they're so good. They've perfected the waiting game where they know we want to give the water so much. We want to give the word so much that they're like, yeah, they're going to come over because because they were told to go out and disciple. Just they want to disciple more than we want the water right now. Like, yeah, like we want the water, but we're not going to let them know. But their desire is so great. We can just sit and they're going to come to us. And we need to pause that. You have the word. You have the wine that has been turned from their contaminated water. And you have the wine of truth. And it tastes good. Come and taste and see that it's good. And you also have the unadulterated water. So you got the wine and you got the water. Don't fret. They're going to come. Field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. They're going to come because they desire it. The human being, the DNA of the human, they desire it. Look around you and see. No matter how wealthy, and they desire it. And the arrogance says on their terms. And we have been so desiring to evangelize. We have done everything and contorted everything to fit. Because we want to get in. We want to get. No, stop. Stop it. Pull back. Stop it. Right now, in that desire, we have destroyed and contaminated our children in the process. Because as we go, our children go with us, and now they're in that place and space of these horses and these horsemen, and they're getting trampled on. They're getting defecated on. Listen, we need to protect our jewels, the gems that's given. We need to come back. Come back home. Go back to the foundation. Build your house. Clean off your children. Clean off the mess. Start detoxing your children from the environments of the stables. Get rid of the clothes. Get some new garments. Get some, listen, analytical, spiritual. Catch these. Catch it. Get some new garments. Take off those garments from the barn. It's smelly. It's musty. It's yucky. Get rid of those shoes. Dust off the sand and the straws from being there. Sanctify yourself. Wash yourself off. Start building again. Trust me, the horse desires your water. its throat is going to be parched. And some of them, they're going to die of thirst to want to be wrong and strong. Eventually, their generations are going to be like, you guys can die here of thirst, but you see your arrogance and no, it's not working for us. We are thirsty. And over there has the water. We know it because it was once here. We heard of the stories of the water being here and what it did. And the water got contaminated where it's like no longer here. It's over there and it's pure again, fresh and refreshing. And I heard that there's wine over there too. There's both. Because what? That land over there is always a land of plenty. We are a land of abundance. We are a people of abundance. The water that flows out of us is never ending, never ceasing. The water of life and truth. We're going over there, all right? And they're going to be the one to do the exodus of leaving there and come over. And when they come over, they're going to say, what do we need to come in? And there's nothing superficial. There's no jumping to the hoops and all these man-made religious entry fees and entry exams and entry. No. How'd you enter? Lay everything that you have down outside. Lay your cross down. Lay everything of the world down. And just come as you are, meaning naked. Not in the perverted way that the other side says, oh, come in, come as you are. Leave everything at the door. Everything of that world. Leave it. All of the imperfections that came on you, leave it. And come as you are. How as you are. Not the are as the world version of come as you are, come in. No. That's not what it meant. Come as you are. Naked as I am. Naked. How did you come into this world? How were you? When you came, you were what? You were naked. You are naked. When you came, it said, looked at you, you are naked. Come as you are. Not come as you transformed yourself to. Come as you are. Naked as I came, naked as you leave. Come as you are. Naked. And allow yourself to be washed with this water and be clothed with the perfection of the mirror image that is possible and attainable. And you're going to start over doing the baby steps. And that is where you will catch yourself wanting to put back on the garments of what you left outside. Because some of them are so strong. The smell of it is so strong. The memories of it is so strong. And it's like, but can't I? Because I'm so used to over there saying that you can. It's going to be a tough process where no. So we're going towards that mirror image. But just come as you are, which is naked. Wash your feet up. Wash your hands. So you enter with clean hands and clean feet. And a true desire to return to that mirror image. That's how you are. That is how you are. Come as you are. We need to build again. We need to, the houses that, the places and spaces, the houses of worship are synagogues and churches and mosque of compromise. We need to build again. And as we build, we are now knowing we're not building a place of worship. We know we're building a place of gathering of the worshipers because we are the place of worship. Our body is the place of worship. You wake up in the morning, you are in worship. Your being are in worship. Your body, you are in it. So you stretch it out. You do your meditation, your gratitude. You're in worship. Your body is worship. You move with worship. You go to the fridge, you get your fresh glass of water. You ask yourself, How am I worshiping? Being, the being of you. How are you being? How are you worshiping? The action, the verb. Come on, people. Mirror work. The season of it is right now. You get your hot lemon water. You start your detoxing of the toxicity of the world that has come through your skin, your pores, your eyes, and you're detoxing out. You're detoxing. Your hot lemon water, for some of you, your hot garlic water. I was doing the lemon, and then Holy Spirit said, start doing hot garlic. Put garlic in the water. Just garlic, let it steep. Drink that garlic water. Like, ooh, what's that? There's a lot of things that came. And honestly, I'm going to tell the truth. I haven't researched garlic water. And I know the day I do, and if anybody send me, I know it's going to be a confirmation as to like, oh, that's why. There's some things I do not go to seek confirmation, because I know when you're at a stage of that relationship, it comes back to the garden. Why do I have to confirm that don't eat? I have to go and confirm that. I have to go see if you're telling me the truth, or were you hiding something? It comes back to that trust and that relationship where you build it, where the trust in the Most High. I do not need to go to confirm anymore. And I pray that for each and every one of you to come to that place and space of that relationship where you know confirmation is going to come. And when it comes, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why. You're not going out and confirming the word first before you be obedient. Then there's no trust. You don't move like that when you trust someone. When you have, and we put a lot of that type of trust in man that's just fallible and foul, where we trust them and we run. Last 3 years has been a testament to that. Blind trust in man's institutions of lies. Blind trusting. Nobody researched. Nobody investigated to see if they were telling the truth. There was this blind trust. 80% blind trusted. Out of that 80, someone said, well, no, we didn't blind trust. We were fearful of doing what? Losing what? That which man did not give you. See, many of you went to, oh, I'm going to lose my job. I'm talking about your life. See, that's the problem. Many of you were fearful of losing a job, a currency that man gave. And when I said, what are you fearful of? Losing what that man did not give to you? Many of us like, you thought it was a job I meant, right? Again, translation in what you have come accustomed to believing that this life is about your job. You were afraid of losing what man didn't give you. Man didn't give you life. We're all promised to leave. Every man is promised death. So why did you forget that? If this means that I am going to die standing on truth, death is promised to every one of us. Guess what? The last T that crosses and the last I that's dotted in my journey Bible is that she left. She left. Remembering that we all have to leave. How did you leave? We all are promised to leave. Every one of my children are promised to die. And I want them to embrace that as not being afraid of it. Why are we afraid of what we were promised? That was a contract. When we came in, that was a contract. Why many of you guys are surprised when the contract has to be fulfilled? When you do a business contract and it comes to an end, are any of you shocked? When you do a contract with someone and the contract comes to the end, the terms come to the end, the terms of agreement comes, it's been fulfilled. How many of you are shocked? None of you are shocked when the contract ends, because you're fully aware that's what you came in. This spiritual contract, this contract of the human experience, are we not all on the same page that the end of the contract is death? So why are we all shocked about it and we do everything to avoid that contractual agreement? A lot of you are being, so you do everything to avoid it. Now, if we put that into the worldly, we will call you dishonest, right? If you go into a business deal and you do everything to avoid the ending of the contract because it's too good to, and you don't want it to end. So you do everything not to fulfill that contract. The other person's going to call you dishonest because the other person's like, listen, we have a contract, but you're stretching it out or you're doing everything not to. You wonder why the indictment is for many that say they know the word. There's a contractual agreement when we came here. We knew that death is probably, we're supposed to live here powerfully. So those who have compromised no longer, because they're like, oh yeah, death is promised. And shoot, at the end of this contract is another contract, right? Come on now. Come on, you theologians and all you Bible scholars that are just lying to the people, and you people who sit at the feet of liars. You know this. What is so in the natural, so in the spiritual. As it is in heaven, it's the same here. At the end of this contract is another contract. What's the other contract? The contract is how you live here. There's another contract. So let's bust ass here. Let's fulfill this contract powerfully here. Not being afraid of the end of the terms of the agreement of called death. Look forward to when death comes. You fulfilled your contract, kicking ass. Man, you were the best fulfilling your end of the agreement. You showed the enemy, listen, greater is in me, and what is in me is not compromised. I was awakened to the truth of your lies and your deception. Because every one of us still know we're ending to that end contract. But you've made us taste this world and covet this world and covet these awards and covet these idols and covet that we've sold our birthright for a bowl of stew. And the stew is going to end. And when the stew ends, what? You're back to being cold and hungry. All these analogies that is packed in the English version of the King James, authorized by the Jesuits and the popes for the king of that time, to keep you calm. All of these is packed with truth because they could not translate everything out. They had to keep some truth. So 4 truths and a lie. Look at my other podcast episode, 4 truths and a lie. Scripture, the principles of it is true. The translation, how it has been dispersed to you, has been in lies. That is why it says, knowing that man is fallible, you have to now dig. You have to seek and you shall find. Knock on doors. Pursue it. It's right there. But you're going to have to dig. It first starts with you desiring to be, not coveting these awards, not coveting the lifestyle of the car and the house. It starts with your desire to covet, to return to your mirror image of what you once were. So when at the end of the terms of this contractual agreement called death, you're going to end it as close to or being that mirror image. And you're going to hear, well done. The well done, thy good and faithful servant, is you pursuing and doing the hard work of excommunicating and just getting rid of all of the lies that you had to penetrate through. The Most High know that this is a job, this is a task. Anybody, this human experience in itself, to go through it, it knows, listen, well done. You went through that. You saw the lie. You saw the hypocrisy. Man, it came on you. Molestation, rape, drug abuse, addiction, trauma, deceit, backstabbing, slick words. Man, it came at you. Man, and you duck, you drive, you duck and you dive, you moved, you pivoted. Oh man, you got knocked down and you got back up. That is the well done, thy good and faithful servant. It is that. The well done is what you had to have gone through, what you did, the race you ran. Well done. Man, you jumped over some hurdles. I saw you swimming through some shark infested waters. Well done. Man, you got amputated. I saw you, man. You lost a limb during that struggle and you kept going, man. Well done. You lost some friends. You lost reputation. And you kept going to the mark. What is that mark? The mark of perfection. Not the mark of the beast of consumerism. Man, you pursued that mark. Well done. Well done. Come on up. Come on up. Come on over. Well done. Well done, man. You knocked it out the ballpark. You became wealthy and rich on the principles of God, and you're able to dodge and you were a light to others. Well done. Many of us, like, we all are gonna have our story of our well dones. Some are gonna have to have lost. Some didn't lose as much. Some got dumped on. Some got attacked. Some got violated. And the well done is through it all. I learned. I got it through it all. The end result, the perfected end result was always the macro picture. That was my macro win. That's the well done. Death is promised. And they say, if my fixation is said, fix your eyes, fix your thoughts, I wonder, I'm like, what is the next going to be like? I was having this conversation with my son last night, this particular one, about how I view life. Since I was a little girl, I was always odd. I was just different. Didn't have many friends. I just couldn't relate after, like, it's just, again, the nurturing, the nature and nurture. My father, the conversation, the things I would have when I come with my peers, it'll be just like on a different level. And they'd be like, I just, like, so I could fit in for a while. I can, but then after a while, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can't, I just couldn't stay. Just like this Grammys, like, yeah, you could sit there for a minute and you're like, yeah, I'm good. I just couldn't stay. So they would call me Stush, they'll call me whitewash, they'll call me Uncle Tom, because my language, my vernacular, the things I'll be talking, it's just like, I'm just like, man, you guys are not stimulating on board. It's just like, that's petty, or like, why are we wasting time? Like, I would prefer, and that's when I started to desire just being happy by myself. I'm like, I prefer being by myself than wasting my energy and my time with this nonsense, or doing this, or talking about this, or being like this. Like, what? I would prefer just being home. Everybody's like, I tried it all. Went to the clubbing, and it's just like, after a while, you're like, yeah, I've been there, done. I got the T-shirt. I'm good. I would desire. I'm good by myself. So it's like, people who get to know me do not believe that I am an introvert. Like, I would prefer I in my first day of class, the professor was asking for you to talk about, introduce yourself again to the class, your name, speak about, your favorite place, and the favorite course that you've taken so far at the school that I'm at. And everybody, and honestly, like, I'm like, my favorite place is my home. That's why I am so protected. Like, my older children and my ex-husband will tell you, I don't joke with my home environment. That's when I tell people I'm happily married. One of my children is like, "Oh, mom, you were miserable, and you always talk about, other people having husbands." I'm like, what conversation did you hear? Again, English. Like, what did you hear, bro? I'm like, what? I'm like, what conversation did you hear that you interpreted that I miss No, bro. No, 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 no. Let's revisit that conversation again because I'm like, what did you take away from that? No. Mm-mm. I love my home, my space from since I was a little girl as a result of violations that occurred. And then growing up and being around and I'm like, my best safe place is me, my home. So when I establish my home, my space, I protect it tooth and nail. You don't bring cantankerous drama, disgusting filth, lies, deceit in my space. My home, listen, that's outside the door. Like you and it. Listen, I am unapologetic. You might want to call it super spiritual and super righteous because that's where you are. Listen, I desire to be in the place and the space of perfection. It says, where I am, you shall be. And where it is, there is no disgustingness there. So you better start to get used to it here. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Get used to, oh, get used to being here in a space of cleanliness in all areas of it. Become used to it here. So it is not foreign, it is common. You're ready to enter there. I don't think I'm ever gonna get to Mr. DJ Cutting on I think I do the podcast too because I'm just going. I haven't touched it yet, so the Holy Spirit is not ready for me to press play on 1040. In the natural, before you get behind the wheel of a car or driving public transportation or flying a plane, before you are allowed to enter into the space of, yeah, you got this, and you got to go through getting used to it. And it becomes now second nature where it's just, that's your space. You're at home now. Riding a motorcycle where you're just like, man, now I'm enjoying it. Like you have to get used to it, right? It just don't plop. You just don't flop down, go fly a plane, go just ride a bike. You just flop down, go drive a car, flop down, be versed in multiple languages. Just don't flop down in it where now it's just your comfort zone. You're just comfortable. No. It's not instantaneous, ladies and gentlemen. So it is in the natural. In all things, so it is in the spiritual. Start to get used to it now. Where your space is a mirror image. Thank you. Your space is the mirror image of the Most High. Is trying to tell you, you want to come into my space, but you're coming in? How are you coming in? And you, like, there's no osmosis. It's not symbiotic. Right now, naturopathic, come on, you're in the room. Doctors, true ethical doctors. The reason why we like to take things in a liquid form is how it assimilates itself in our blood, in our system. It's quickly absorbed. You don't have to fight. That's why we don't want to do it, the pills and all that. You don't have to fight. It blends in. When I was taking my course at Cornell University for whole food plant-based, and I did that course, somebody said to me, I digress for a minute. Somebody was saying, are you versed in this person? And I said to people, are you challenging certain things? Because, see, people judge you. They see my picture, then they see me in person, they see different, and they assume, they think they know me. And then they believe that I don't know, or I don't have, or I'm not versed in, or because they have a mirror image of what someone looks like that's versed in this. The mirror image is the Bill Gates, the Fauci's, all these liars that say this is what a doctor looks like, a person who's versed in linguistic looks like this, a person that did it. And when they hear what you've already accomplished, what you know, and they're just like, oh, that's when they're shocked, like, oh my God, you have all these. And I just it pisses me off sometimes because I'm like, wow, you guys, especially those who profess to be Christians, I'm like, you guys still judge books by covers. That's why when Yeshua came, when the Christ came, they still didn't know him because he didn't look the part. Many of you still judge people by the cover, and that is why the enemy fools you guys so goddamn well, because it knows what you look for and it dresses up and it puts on a show, and you embrace it so easily and so quickly. So going through the Cornell course of whole food plant-based diets, nutrition, and you pick up a lot of things that, one, you already know, or two, you didn't know, or you get a deeper understanding of. And I love these intense courses. Even my modular that I'm doing, like, people are like, oh my God, like, I love jumping into intense courses where it's like, it's intense. That's why when people hear the things I've done, they're like, how you been able to do that on your own this age? Because I go into the concentrated courses. I digress again. In one of my high school, there was this program called the Enrich program for math. And again, guidance counselors didn't think that I'm capable of doing Enrich programs because it was assumed that it's the Asians and the East Indians, the Greeks, and like it's them. Like, for you of African descent, oh, this is too intense. I keep laughing, thinking, all these subjects came from my people, eh? But it's okay. That's another podcast. And my people has been blinded and has been separated from who they are and who they really are. And they've been told that they're not capable of, and it's for other people, not for them. So anyhow, so I like to be in Enrich, like heavy courses where a person will take 4 years course and it's condensed into 2 years, or a 4-year course is condensed into a year. Like the reading is heavy. Because then I get to submerge. Why? It just reminds me of the environment my dad had me in. My dad, conversation with me was always heavy from a young age. So the nurturing exposed my appetite to be comfortable in heavy content. And you're just in it. And you're just like, and the information's coming left, and you got to multitask with this, and you're being required to push it out, to take in a lot and push it out, right? Because of the time, it's condensed time. You're not there to waste time. It's condensed. So your brain blows up, and then it's just like, okay, I need a break. And I do that even now with my body. I'll go, and then my body just crashes for like a couple of days, and I'm out. And then it just goes bam, bam, and it's like, some people it's not healthy. I'm like, listen, nature, nurture. We all have our end times. When the end time comes, the end times comes. So I was in that condensed course, and it again confirmed about the liquid states of the chewing of your food, why we are supposed to chew our whole food, our plant-based food, chewing it so much times that it becomes liquid. But that's another part of digestive issue. So I do have I do got my knowledge on nutrition. So that's one of the things that I do in my coaching. It's the chewing of your food and how important that is. And many don't chew properly. So it comes back to, again, why is the chewing, the breaking it down to it comes to this liquid spit, so that it's absorbed with your saliva, it's absorbed with your body. It's like there's your body don't got much to work with because you've chewed it down so much in this paste-like liquid state. It's not going down solid, right? Where it has to like break down. So chew your food as much as possible. When your parent, when you hear chew your food, it's for real. Chew your food, okay? All right. So it comes back to, again, the symbiotic, the osmosis part of being already here and climatizing yourself here to being in that space. So when you get there, it's like, it's easy. Like, yeah, I'm used to this. And that's why you're going to be accepted Because the Most High is going to look at you and say, yeah, you're kin of kin. You're mine. You're my people. Because I see it all over you. You're already there. It's easy for you to slip into my environment and come and be with me because you've already done it. The Bible being revealed, it is so right in our face. It's so right in our face. Well done, the good and faithful servant. Do the work now. Start doing the work now of your space, your environment, being a mirror image of the Most High, your Father, the Most High, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, those feminine attributes that was with and part of and the foundational characteristics of forming this earth. The feminine and the masculine. That is why it was created. Even before man and woman, if you remembered, when it created creation, it made male and female, right? Because that is a mirror image, my Lord. So when we keep beating down women in churches and all in any spiritual form, Muslim, Hindu, I don't care. When you beat down the woman, you are being disrespectful to the feminine that created this place called earth. You keep slapping, spitting, condescending. You are not showing respect. That is why when it talks about the husband, the wife, how Christ, you're supposed, like, the reverence that you give the feminine, not the disgustingness that is being contorted to right now. The reverence and the utter respect you have for the feminine, you're supposed to be defending it, not defiling it. You're supposed to be going to these man-made institutions and saying, back up, hands off of the feminine and the qualities and what, listen, that is not your jurisdiction. Your taxes, that's your jurisdiction. You created that. Your Grammys, you created that. All of this stuff, yeah. But you see the feminine, the masculine, hands off of that, Caesar. Give unto Caesar, belong to Caesar, give unto the Most High. Gender is not Caesar's. Hands off. Back the heck up. No. That's not your jurisdiction, your territory. Back up. You want to teach English, geography, science? Okay, yeah. But you see this, gender? Oh, no. The church, because of passes like these, has allowed Caesar to step past his place. The last 3 years, your churches and your ministers has allowed Trudeau, Biden, Macron, all of them to pass their place into the jurisdiction of your body. That is supposed to be what? The representation of what? The temple. The place where the Spirit of the Most High resides. You gave them jurisdiction to enter. Ooh, calm down. We are in a mirror image moment of preservation. We're stopping. We're done. The evangelism is done. Yes, the evangelism is done. We need to gather what we have left. The little we got left, we got to now put a wall around it. The wall of standards, not a superficial, let's build a gated community and run to the hills and get our naturopathic coming. No. Build a wall of integrity. This wall, this standard. We got to build it. Quick, fast, hurry up, so be it. Boom. There it is. Standard. We have to now nurture within that wall. That is why those that stepped out and that are out in the world, my prayers are for you. And those that are still within my walls, it's about preservation. And there is an intentional act of wanting to take out what we still have, the little that we still have. No, we got to now say, nope, wall, zoop. I gave you access because I was on the quote unquote high road of taking the highway, loving your enemies, love bombing sin, compromise, giving, praying and fasting, and this and I saw that I saw exactly what you did with that. Nope, wall, instantaneously. Now it's preservation. Those that are outside the wall that chose to stay and remain outside the wall, that was your free will and choice to go outside and remain outside. Comes back to Sodom and Gomorrah. In all the analogies, see where we are in such a special place where all of scripture is being revealed in this moment of this time called 2020 to 2023. Scriptures being fulfilled, all stories, parables, principles. It's like this cosmopolitan, this mixing, this concentrated time of scripture just being masterfully fulfilled in a multitude of ways instantaneously. It's like you look at one thing and you're seeing so much being revealed instantly in that one moment. You're just like, whoa. Those who are outside, you heard the call, you know the truth, and that was a free will choice for you to step out and remain outside. Nobody put you outside. You put yourself outside. Nobody's going to send you to hell. You are going to put yourself there by the actions. Nobody damned you to hell. Nobody sent you to hell. You sent yourself to that place that is separate from the Most High. And when you're separate from the Most High, it's hell. You put yourself there. You can now do the mirror work of cleaning yourself up and returning to that. The Most High is not going to do it for you because the Most High didn't put you out there. You put yourself out there. Comes back to Genesis. When man kept blaming everything except taking full responsibility. The serpent didn't make Eve. The serpent didn't make the woman. The woman ate it. Eve didn't make Adam. Eve can't blame, no. Adam accepted it. And everyone went around pointing finger and blaming the mother, blaming the father, blaming my lifestyle, blaming my zip code, blaming the time I was born, where I was born, blaming this, blaming that. And the Most High is looking at the man and the woman and be like, at what time are we going to hear you just take ownership for being disobedient? Like, what time, at what point in this game am I going to hear you just full responsibility for, yeah, the serpent didn't make me do it. I chose to listen to the worldly wise. I chose to want to believe. I made the decision to believe that you were telling me this because you're controlling. I made the decision to listen. And Adam wasn't supposed to blame the woman. Adam was supposed to take full responsibility. The woman didn't tempt you. The woman didn't tantalize you. The woman spoke and you listened and you made the free will choice to do it. No matter how much she beguiled you, no matter how much slick she was, you said yes. Don't blame your business partner. Don't blame Justin Trudeau. Don't blame Fauci. Don't blame Bill Gates. Don't blame CDC, which is a building and a name. It's the men and women that work in the CDC. It's a men and women that's working in the World Health Organization. It's a men. It's not this entity to blame. What the entity is a name that men and women come together and named it, but they go there every day and they perform actions to give it life. It's the men and women that are there. Don't blame Doug Ford. Don't blame Christine Elliott. It's the MPPs that stayed silent. Don't blame Justin Trudeau. Don't even blame Aaron O'Toole. The MPs that went to work every day and remained silent. They empower these. So, don't blame mom, dad, aunt, uncle, the disgusting pastor. Don't blame. There come a point where you decided to continue to stay outside, to make those decisions instead of owning that I am broken, I am traumatized. This is messing me up. What they did was disgusting and it completely messed me up. And I am repeating this mess and now my actions to the next person. But I'm going to blame what my uncle, father, mother, pastor, disgusting babysitter. I'm going to blame. No, I'm the one that's now doing the action to someone else. And to be honest, it is as a result of my traumas. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. And if you can't, as a result of how much you're hurting, I totally get it. I am disgusted and hurt by myself for not catching that my brokenness, my hurt is not healed. And I'm doing to you exactly what I remembered growing up saying I would never want somebody else to go through, or I hated it. And here I am giving it to my children, passing it down to my wife, giving it to a coworker, violating somebody else's child. And when I was violated, mirror work, people, mirror work, mirror work, mirror work. And you pastors like this are going to be so indicted because the mirror work that your congregants have to do to get off all of the lies that you've put on them, again, it's going to take them 10, 15 years extra because of the time they spent underneath you. Yet still, you members, you're going to be found responsible for staying there for so long. So start the work. Start the work. Because at the end of the day, you cannot blame this pastor and pastors like him. You can blame them for like, oh my God, you give me something. But if you want to blame, if you want to call that a blame, and the ownership is going to be back on you. At what point in time did you choose to not leave? You heard the contradiction. The still small voice says that's wrong. But because you desire and covet to stay under these people, you start making allowances. That's one of the reasons why I don't do communion. When I go to, listen, these church and places, listen, the word to commune, to come, listen, to come together, to partake of, I don't know your head. I ain't touching that. I would be the only one that's not partaking. I don't know. Listen, I commune with the Most High. My communion is with the Most High. And I do not drink any blood and I'm not eating any flesh. I am not a vampire. I am not a werewolf. I am not no cannibal. Go back to what it signified and what it meant. I am not participating in the Jesuits, Pope reproduction of what things really were. I am not participating in it. It says once you know better, you do better. When you were ignorant, it's like you didn't know better, and that's why there's grace. Grace is like, okay, I know you don't know. And then grace is just like, okay, you know now, right? Okay, good. Whew, I'm gone. Grace is covering a lot of y'all, but grace can't wait to leave because grace is like, listen, Because grace wants the end time too. Grace wants all of this to end. Yeah, grace is there, but it's like grace, like, okay, at what point is the generation gonna end where you're just handing down the lies? So once you know better, now grace, like, okay, now you can do better, right? I'm out. Now it comes full responsibility. You can now wine and dine with it. You can now make concessions and compromise with it, but now you know. Now you know. And because it's a desire for every human to desire truth, those who desire not to know the truth, you're guilty of making listen, you are guilty of making the decision of not wanting to know. You're still made a decision. You're guilty. And this is what a lot of people think they're going to dodge a bullet because they're so worldly wise in their legalities and their lexicons of double talking in the world. You think you can double talk God? You think you can swindle? You think you can swindle the Holy Spirit when time comes? The Holy Spirit fully is aware. That's why I said it knows the heart of man. It knows that you intentionally did not desire to pursue that because you did not want to know. You're guilty. It's not you didn't know because you were ignorant and you had no clue. That's where grace is. And as soon as the heart can identify the moment in time, ping, where you made a conscious decision not to want to pursue because you don't want to let go of the pastor. You don't want to let go of this lifestyle. You don't want to face the truth that your whole culture has been lied to. Your being, so you made a decision to say, I don't want to know, like whatever. Or you now say, oh, that's a white man thing. That's a white woman thing. It knows the heart, the feather and heart scale of the African culture. You know this. You know that story. Those who are outside don't know the feather and the heart, but you know it. It's going to judge you. It knows that precise moment in time when you made the decision not to pursue. That still voice, that tug in the heart, that hold on a minute, and you squashed it quick as soon as it came. That millisecond of you squashing it, thinking that you're gonna now, you think the Most High didn't see that as a macro moment. Listen, that is written right there. That is when grace is like, oh, I'm gone. It's gonna identify every one of you, your micro millisecond moment of intentionally shutting down that voice, that thought, that tugging of the heart, that conscience. That's it. Hold on. And then you killed it. Right there, you're guilty. So when it says no man, no woman, and no child is going to plead ignorance and innocence, and you'd be like, oh, I didn't know it. No. It's going to show you a mirror image. It's going to roll back your time and give an account and show you that pinpoint moment of when you choose to deny, when you choose to shut down your heart, when you made the conscious decision of blanking out. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, that moment right there. That was when you said no to truth. So trust me, every one of you is going to be recorded at the moment of your life and your journey when you said no. And that is why nobody's going to perish unjustly. It's going to give you a recollection of when you had the opportunity to, and you allowed the world in all of its glitz, glamour, and deception to keep you in a state of misinformation and disinformation. And you're going to want to justify it all you want, but at the end of the day, the truth is you didn't want to let go. You did not want to let go. That's what it is. You didn't want to let go. So now I feel released to press play. All right. Now I feel released to press play. Let me see what time I got here on the recording. 1 minute and 24. So this is going to be the end of part 1. And part 2, when you click on it, it's going to be the beginning of him and his rant. I'm asking the Holy Spirit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but my desire is truly to allow the rest of his thing to go through. And I'm going to really, I don't want to be now telling the Holy Spirit not to tell me talk, not tell me talk. If it is the desire of the Holy Spirit, now this is where now I have to come in submission of me and my, oh my God, I want to say something. Now I have to put myself in a submission and allow the Spirit of the Most High to now go through the second part. If it truly is the will, I am going to ask the Most High to prick me. And I know that prick when it's like, no, that's you, that's self. That self wants to interject. Put it in the seat. So, Most High, my desire is to let the second part go. And I know you have a desire to either make me interject or to where we both agree. We're two in agreement. So my desire comes after your will. And my desire is for this to go through. And I'm going to bite my tongue. And my will is under your will. So let your will be done. And then in part 2, let your will be done in part 2 for it to go through, or for there to be moments where you need me to speak. Let your will be done. So it is in heaven, so it shall be on earth, here in part 2. All right, so it's the end of this. I am going to start, as I said, part 2. And that's the end of the Mirror Work Conversations with Lady O. Stay in action with faith and possibility of this part 1. Stay in action with faith and possibility. Walk in and protect your light. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean and live like you mean what you say. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.